This is the GTN Show.
Welcome from Hawaii.
Well, we are just a few days out from the main event here in Hawaii, the Ironman World Championships. So we thought we'd head out to the Queen K, which is part of the bike course here for the World Championships, to catch a bit of the action, some of the athletes as they're passing by. And I've got to be honest, I am absolutely buzzing for this race on Saturday.
I think the whole island is, and the big question is who's going to be on that top spot come race day. And well, to help us with a little bit of that, we are going to be catching up with some pros throughout the show, those who are going to be racing and really in the mix of it come Saturday.
Yeah, and another big question is, will that 8-hour barrier be broken this weekend?
I hope so. I hope we're here to see that.
Yeah, well, we also have some exciting new product releases that we quite often see for the World Championships. We also have another exciting F1 engineered design for Patrick Lange, and we have some more rather last minute and unfortunate withdrawals from the World Champs. Yeah, this is the Specialized Shiv disc. Now, the last Specialized Shiv triathlon version came out in 2011, and I think for the last few years, everyone's been awaiting a new bike from Specialized, triathlon version Shiv, and here it is. It is not what I was expecting at all, and it's quite exciting. I mean, on the front end, we've got a complete change of the forks. They're much wider for aerodynamic reasons.
And also you have to, well, in a moment you have to have a look from the front because they've made it, again, with the aerodynamics of the holes in between the forks here for the airflow. So there's a lot of attention to detail.
Absolutely, but the bit you probably spotted straight away is this bit on the back, and that is the hydration cell. Now, I think for this, we need to move over to this bike here. So if we come with me. So this bit here, all filled with fluid. So we'll have all your hydration in there, and that's going to be routed round. So you've got your straw coming all the way through the frame, and boom, out of here. And yeah, Bob's your uncle.
You went past the very important part there, Mark. I mean, M&Ms, but it's more the fact that it actually is a nutrition cell. So this whole pulls out. You can refill it with whatever choice of nutrition you might have.
You just lost an M&M.
I'm throwing M&Ms around. Sorry about that.
Well, actually, the idea is that you can put your hand in and just grab your gels out as you go. But then in there, you can then have your spares and whatnot. So it's really well thought through. Everything's integrated. Everything's hidden. It's very different from what we saw before. Very exciting.
Well, whilst we're still out at the expo, thought we'd chat about another release, and this is the Cask Utopia. On the side here, we've got a black one and a white one. And these are an aero road helmet.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen them being used by Team Sky for a few months, so it's quite exciting to get our hands on them properly, and no better place than out here where aerodynamics are key. But talking of aerodynamics as well, the Mistral, which obviously isn't a new helmet, does have a very cool new paintwork. Kona themed again, they've gone for a bit more blue and green this year, and you can see some of the pros have been in and signing this one as well.
Yeah, very nice looking, and I understand it's got like the sand, the sea, the road, everything sort of integrated into that. But yeah, it's a cool design, very nice.
Well, whilst we're out and about, we've got another tech-related piece that is released just before Kona. It is about none other than the reigning world champion, Patrick Lange. He has just announced his Project 101.
Yeah, and it's quite exciting. Unfortunately, it's not available to everyone out there. This has been developed specifically for Patrick Lange, and 101 is referring to him being 101 seconds away from going sub 8 hours last year at Kona. And this whole idea has been developed in conjunction with Sauber Engineering, Swiss Side, one of his sponsors, and Canyon. And yeah, we've got F1 engineering going into this to really try and hone his aerodynamics.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see if these changes can actually find 101 seconds over 112 miles, because that's a pretty big ask, but it's going to be very exciting to see. And the amount of effort just shows what goes into becoming world champion.
Yeah, I mean, those changes are all about making a custom tri-bar that's molded around his forearms, which we've seen a little bit in the past, but not custom for a specific person. So yeah, this is going to be very exciting to see. Well, we said we were going to head around the course to catch some of the pros. Well, we've actually come on down to the swimming pool where the pros are getting in some of their last minute training. We've got the opportunity to chat to Tim Reid. Now, Tim, how are you feeling for this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good. It's obviously a fairly nerve-wracking time, but I always take comfort in the fact that everyone's really nervous. You know, it's the biggest race of the year for most of us. I'd say nearly for all of us, and everyone's probably pretty nervous. So excited, and ready to race.
I mean, as always, there's a huge amount of hype around here, but there's a few changes this year. One of the considerable thing is the run course, and there's this little extra loop. And from us, like watching, we're like, oh, there's just a little like loop added here and taken off there. From your opinion, does that make a difference? Is it going to make a difference to your race?
To be honest, no. I mean, it's, when you say it's an extra loop, I mean, it's still the same distance, and if anything, it's actually going to make the run course a little easier, because I think up on the Queen Ks, you've got a lot more breeze, and on Ali Drive can be very humid, not much breeze, and even though you've got the crowd, which is nice, I think the new run course should actually be a little bit faster.
Okay, it's really interesting because some people, the other way. So it's interesting to hear that. Whether you'll still be thinking that when you're out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of hype for this 8-hour barrier. Last year we saw a new world record, and obviously a big part of that happens because of the conditions and the tactics on the bike. Who do you think is going to really play a part in affecting this race and making, breaking or making some people's performances?
Yeah, I think part of it is the conditions for sure, but I also think the depth of the field is just getting deeper and deeper every year. There's so many guys that influence the race. I think it'll be a similar scenario to last year, where I think you'll have Cameron Worth really pushing the pace on the bike, and whether guys go with him, Lionel Sanders, whether they swim together. It could be 3 or 4 guys, or it could be Cameron solo, or it could be Lionel solo. But either way, those guys, they've put together, especially Lionel, put together fantastic runs. And it's, we can't just sit back and watch, So the pressure's going to be on. I think the dynamic of the race itself and the course and conditions, they're tough. Yeah. But what makes it tougher than any race is the fact you've got, all the other pros are racing are in their peak condition for the year. And you really are racing these guys. It's not like a smaller Ironman where you can just go out, ride your numbers and know that you'll be, ride X time and run X time. So that's what makes it difficult. And I think the guys I mentioned will be the big influences on the race.
And talking about that's, everyone, you're not racing to your numbers, you are racing the race. Do you think 8 hours is going to go on Saturday?
I think potentially it could. Yes or no? I think it's very possible. I mean, we've seen it drop quite significantly the last few years. I think it's really could drop quite a lot if one of those super bikers puts together an amazing run. I mean, the way they're riding, and if any of them run the 245, then it's going to be not just under 8. It could be a 755 or it could be a 753. So
it could be.
But the Hawaii's got a funny way of evening things out, and you push too hard on the bike, everyone you have to pay for it somewhere. So.
Oh, I'd say that's a good politician's answer.
Yeah.
Well, Tim, thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Right, we've just got Diego Vinhal here now, just before he jumps in for a swim. 13th here last year. How are you feeling for this year?
I'm feeling so happy to be here back in Kona. I love this place, and it was my dream to be here like 5 years ago, and now I'm here for the second time. So I have no words to describe how is the feeling to be back and be pushing with the best guys in the world.
And I mean, you seem really relaxed, and it's amazing to see. But the pressure of the one race of the year that all the pros are training for. How do you think this is actually going to pan out on race day? Like, which pros are going to excel in this pressure and which ones maybe are going to struggle because there's been so much attention?
I think my way to go with the life is to always to be happy, And for me, it's a really dream to be here, racing against them. But I think the other guys, they have a little bit pressure more than me. So now this year with Froden out, so I think everybody will be crazy. Push so much on the bike, and I think it will be like a lucky game because the hot weather here can kill anyone. So I will be like, Justin, take care and saving my energy for the run.
And who do you think could be a dark horse in the race? Because the favourites have all had so much attention on them. Like last year, Patrick Lange was a dark horse. Now he's got that pressure. Is there anyone you think that's maybe going under the radar that we'll be surprised with their performance?
I think this I prefer to be the underdog always, Last year I was 13, so for sure I am aiming to be top 10 this year. But I am always saving my energy to the run. So I think the guys need to do a little bit much clever race and not to push so much, because everybody can push on the bike. We know this, but the games we have to pay off after on the run.
And do you think, with all this pressure and people going crazy on the bike, are we going to see the 8-hour barrier broken on Saturday?
I think this year it's a little bit hot than last year, and I like hot weather. So and for me, I am feeling the hot weather. So imagine for the guys. So I think this will be a little bit difficult factor for the race, and I think that now the run course is a little bit longer. We have a little bit longer
on Queen K.
On the Queen K. So I think this will be a slowly thing for the run.
Okay.
And I think the guys don't break the record this year.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
I like it.
Yeah.
Nice, definite answer. Cool. Well, Diego, best of luck for your race and thanks for your time today.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye from Brazil.
Well, now for the race news, and this weekend we had Ironman Barcelona, which is a notoriously fast course, but given that we've got the Ironman World Championships this weekend, it does open up the field a little bit. So in the men's race, we had Jesper Svensson taking the lead quite early on and really powering away on the bike. He got a 5-minute lead coming into T2, despite some efforts from a small group behind to try and diminish that advantage, but they just couldn't. But onto the run, and Frans Loska came flying through, caught Jesper Svensson, passed him, then blew up, and then Jesper Svensson came through to just take the win over Frans Loska, and then in third, it was Tinto Blanchard.
Well, it ended up being a far more sort of obvious win on the women's side, but it didn't start that way. It was Hanna Maximova of Belarus who actually led out of the water, Ivan van Vleuten behind her. And Ivan van Vleuten didn't take too long till she took the lead on the bike. But she was then chased down by the chase back, which included Laura Philipp and her debut Ironman performance. And by the time they came to T2, Laura Philipp had just taken the lead, and we know she's a strong runner, and she certainly showed that. She just ran away with it and left the rest of the field completely in her wake. And she got a new course record and the win on her very first Ironman performance, an 8:34. I mean, we know it's a quick course, but
I think that has got to be one of the best debut Ironman performances today.
We could be watching her and talking about her next year, couldn't we?
I think so.
Well, in second place, it was Hanna Maximova of Belarus who came back past Von van Vleuten on the run. So Von van Vleuten finished third.
Well, let's quickly talk about some other race results that happened this last weekend. We had Ironman 70.3 Lanzarote. In the men's race, we saw Niels Fromhold absolutely destroying it on the bike, getting a 5-minute early advantage. And then, I'm not actually sure what happened on the run, but he disappeared off the face of the earth. But we did have a very strong performance from Tom Lecomte, who came through to take the win. And in the women's race, it was won by Lucy Gossage.
Well, there was also Ironman Taiwan, and some quick times were posted there. It was Daniel Fontana from Italy who took the win for the men's race in a 7:47. And the women's side, it was Sue Hoos posting an 8:25 to take the win. But importantly, those two will have got slots for 2019 Kona World Championships, because now we're into the new qualification system where a winner of an Ironman automatically gets a slot. So the winners of Ironman Barcelona and Taiwan, in theory, we'll see them here next year.
Well, we now just grabbed Jan van Berkel straight out of his session. So Jan, how are you feeling for the weekend's race?
Well, the circus definitely arrived here in Kona. I started taper. During taper, you never feel good, you never feel bad, you just don't know. Just let's see, I relax and get the sessions done I have to do.
Good stuff. And who do you think is really going to influence the race this weekend? How's it all going to play out? What's your predictions?
I think the biggest influence is from the people who are not here. So we don't have Jan here. So I have to carry the flag of the Jans. But so that will definitely make an influence. And then, of course, we have Cam Wolf just really playing the card of the fastest biker. That will influence a lot of guys. Chasing after him or not will be a big decision. And then obviously we have Patrick, who is not underestimated anymore. So that will change the race towards what it was last year, definitely.
And so, yeah, what were you, just, talking about the people who are missing, which could change it, but what about the conditions? What would your preferable conditions be for, and how that would pan out to affect the race? Do you want to just hold that?
I like racing in fast conditions.
Okay.
So it can be hot, but maybe not too windy.
Okay.
That would be my preferable condition. And on the ocean, being a Swiss, we're not really that close to the ocean, so I would love a bit of a flat sea swim. more like a pool
lake.
swim,
Oh, yeah.
more lake, yeah. But yeah, at the end, conditions, they are what they are.
But if it is like that, do you think that will play into Patrick Lange's hands again then? And do you think we could see him repeating it?
I think the race will not play into Patrick Lange's hands. Doesn't matter the conditions.
Okay.
Because he will not be underestimated anymore.
So on that note, we saw him break the world record last year. Do you think that the 8-hour barrier is going to be broken? And if so, who could do it?
The top 10 guys can do it. And there are probably 30 guys who can do a top 10. I will refrain from doing a list. But the times are getting so much faster on the Ironman professional course. So I will not be surprised if it's falling this year or within the next 2 years.
So if you had to be a betting man, yes or no, we're going to see sub-8 on Saturday?
I would look at the weather conditions first.
Another politician here. Well,
No, a lawyer.
Oh, okay. Not going to hold you to it.
Okay. You don't. Journalists don't like politicians or lawyers. I'm going to bet against it.
Oh, okay. Well, good luck anyway, and thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Heather.
Well, now we've popped over to Will Clark's rather nice pad here.
Welcome. How the other half live.
It's very nice. Well, Will, how are you feeling for this weekend?
Yeah, I feel really good actually. Everything went perfectly, to be honest. I had quite a busy season I've done 3 Ironmans already, 2 and 3/4. But yeah, I did good prep. Feeling good. A bit nervous because this is who knows what's going to happen in this race, and there's a lot of tension in the air. But I think I've set myself up as well as I could.
Who do you think are the big influences on this race that could really change the dynamics?
Well, I think Patrick Lang is going to be hard to beat again. I never bet against the guy who won it last time. I mean, he's running so crazy fast that you can't really bet against him.
But then a lot of people are watching him now.
Yeah, exactly. And the bikers are definitely going to try and influence the race. I think Cam Worth might have more of an impact than other years because I think he's running better. He's found his legs a bit. Starkey's going to go hell for leather on the bike. I'm sure he's going to die as well, actually. But just guys like that, that'll obviously help out Sebi as well. He's going to be up there with them. I'm not going to lie, it does help us that Frodo's out of the race. Gives us all a bit of relief.
And I mean, you haven't mentioned last year's runner-up, Lionel Sanders, and he's been putting himself out there with his training and all these changes he's been making, and I know there's been quite a lot of strong views on it. What are your views on Lionel's chances?
I love watching his videos. I think they're I find them really entertaining, but I think he's maybe going a bit too far with it. And my impression, he's trying to reinvent the wheel when actually all he needs to do is probably sort out his biomechanics, and he'll maybe make it to the end in with half decent run form, and then he's there. Yeah. So I personally don't understand why he's trying to reinvent the wheel, and that's my take. But if anyone can do it, he can do it. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, next question. Sub 8 hours. I mean, there's a big topic at any other Ironman race, but it seems to be really tough to do that at Kona. It hasn't yet happened. Obviously, 8:01, so close last year. Do you think it's possible?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I mean, Patrick was super close last year. He's not an Uber biker. He's not an Uber swimmer. So all it takes is, Javier Gomez and Josh Amberger to step up a little bit on the bike. A favourable day wind-wise, which I think we're going to have. I'm not sure there's been much wind recently for Hawaii. Maybe even some rain, which would be excellent. So I think it's more than possible. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think we need a definite answer before we actually ask our viewers. Yes or no? Are we going to see sub 8 hours?
Yes.
Great.
We are.
Well, we want to know what you think. We've heard from some of the pros of their predictions, and I think it's time for the GTN poll. So are we going to see a sub 8 hour performance on Saturday at the Kona at the Ironman World Championships? To enter the poll, click up here.
Yep, and now for last week's poll, which we had, should a doping ban be for life? And this was quite a discussion.
It did. It blew up, didn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. If you're gonna cross your fellow competitors and do that to them, then I think you've broken the your morals aren't in the right place, and you shouldn't be able to do sport again. Absolutely.
Fair enough. Well, let's have a look at the results and see what you guys thought. So, in last place we had other with 7%, and then yes, it should be for life. That was 32%, and then no was 60%. So actually, quite a lot of people think.
Yeah.
Not what I expected.
I mean, there was if you're interested, look back at the comments underneath last week's show because it blew up, didn't it? There was some really strong opinions and some really good arguments as well.
Well, now for question time, and Will's going to help us out today because we have got some Kona relevant questions here. First one from Bobby Bostick. He said, on your run map, did they change the course this year? They don't recall running past the Energy Lab, doing a U-turn on the Queen K, and then doing the Energy Lab a little bit longer, I guess. You obviously know the course changes, so run us through it.
Yeah, so what they've done is they're going out a little bit less far on Alley Drive, flipping it before the church, which is where they normally turn, and then they're going out a tiny bit further on the Queen K, taking a UE onto another road. So you actually go past the Energy Lab before coming back on yourself and doing the Energy Lab, and then obviously when you come back again, rather than turning right, heading back towards town, thinking you're almost done, you have to go and do that little dogleg again. So it's pretty. I don't think it's going to make any difference to times particularly. I mean, this is a really horrendous course, and actually Alley Drive, even though the crowds are there and you're feeling fresh, it's actually can be a bit of a killer because especially when you've got a tailwind, you just completely burn up, and then you come back and you hit Polani, and that's where a lot of people start to get the negative thoughts and blow up because they're just completely overheated and they're thinking, oh my god, I'm feeling. This is it for me now. So actually, maybe sometimes the less on Alley Drive, the better, and get on the
up that hill and
there's a
get
little
out
bit of
there.
headwind and some airflow. Yeah. So I don't think it's going to make any difference to times really.
Okay.
All right. Well, very interesting. Next one from Growing Young said that we neglected to mention the oldest finishers in our Kona in numbers video. Very good point. So I have done a little bit of research on this. It was quite hard to find. But the oldest person I can find is Lou Hollander, 85 years old.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned him on our show before, haven't we? I mean, incredible. I think he's raced here something like 20 times.
Well, at 85 years old, he tried to finish his 24th Ironman World Championships. Unfortunately, he didn't actually complete it that year. He didn't make the bike cutoff, but he does still hold the Guinness Book of Records of 82 years old for his last finish at the Ironman World Championships. So that is quite something.
I can't really imagine that. I mean, Will, you're coming back for your third time on the island, your second time racing here. Can you imagine doing it another 20 times?
Well, last time I was here, I struggled to get around myself. So hats off to anyone. I mean, especially if you're 85 years old and able to get around this race. I mean,
that's some incredible feat.
It's a proper mission. It really is.
Yeah. Well, we're back with Will, and it's time for the caption competition. And last week, I chose the photo of my friend looking a little bit horrified after something that I'd said to her ahead of this 6K open water swim. I still don't know what it was I said, and Ella can't remember either. But you guys came up with some good suggestions, and we've rounded it down to 3. Well, our first one is from Austin Ryan, who says, sharks? I mean, luckily we were in a lake, so hopefully there weren't any.
Nice. The next one we got from Stephen Jacobs said, there's no bike or run after this.
And we've let Will, as he's our guest, choose the winner this week.
I chose the winner as from Stephen Reeves, and he said, you do what to get your wetsuit warm?
Nice.
I like that one. Well, this week we have a photo from here in Hawaii. I didn't choose this one, but I think someone's quite proud of it.
Well, Will, I'm actually interested to hear what you think. This shirt or that shirt that I'm wearing there?
I think this shirt's probably my favourite, yeah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm quite proud of my shirts this week.
You're progressing as the week goes on, Mark.
Any caption suggestions?
Well, I'm just impressed how you're both double layering here in Hawaii. You must have been very clammy under all that.
I mean, we're just acclimatised well and just prepared for all eventualities.
Yeah, it wasn't pleasant, really, was it? But anyway, please do drop your caption suggestions in the comment section below. Well, now a chance for us to go through some of the photos that you guys send in to us, and Will's going to help us out here. We've got a transition zone to start off, sent in by Paul, a Trek Speed Concept 9.9 with his fast forward wheels. What do you think to this one?
Well, at a glance, it looks like a nice setup, but then on a close inspection, he's got 4 cable ties around the whole nose of his saddle. I'm just wondering how he gets around with his gooch intact.
He's not going to have any shorts left at the end of that. I'm hoping that maybe there was some reason they were going to come off before the race.
Well, I know the whole reasoning behind with split nose saddles being a bit too wide and pulling the rails in, but not around the actual saddle itself. So that is an interesting choice, but obviously it works for Paul, so I'm not going to criticise it until...
It'd be good to see how this one ended up. Maybe a before and after shot.
Brilliant. All right, well, moving on now. We've got a really lovely swimming shot from Joseph in Banff, Alberta. And, well, yeah, beautiful, isn't it?
It says a glacial lake, 11 to 12 degrees Celsius. I mean, I can't imagine that. The lake that I last swam in was apparently 16, maybe 15 degrees, and that was getting to the verge of being painful. So, wow. I mean, the vendor was on point there selling gloves and booties. I reckon they had a pretty good day.
It's a bit like our old British Elite Super Series Glasgow races, how cold they were.
I was about to think, yeah, it's a similar kind of...
but maybe not quite that gorgeous backdrop. I mean, I'm not criticising Glasgow,
No,
but that's beautiful. That is very beautiful. Anyway, next one here is from Oliver with his Felt F95, and he has got a full-on new setup, pain cave ready for winter.
Wow. Pretty nice iMac in front there. It's got, ready to go for his Zwift.
Budget for winter training.
I'm worried a bit too close to his keyboard, like for sweat. You don't want to get any sweat on that, do you? But...
Yeah, not maybe on an Acer, but not a Mac Mac desktop.
Brilliant. All right, well, final one here is sent in by Dean. He's got a Sipo Stinger, which is, wow, a very garish bike. It stands out, doesn't it? And he's got matching zip wheels, matching yellow zip vinyls on there.
And he's doing his 100th triathlon. I mean, first of all, I'm impressed that he's done 100 triathlons, but also more impressed that you've counted that far, because I've lost count. I think I've only done about 10, so that's quite impressive.
Brilliant. Well, please do keep sending in your pain cave, your transition zones, your swimming shots, anything you like, any photos using our photo uploader.
Well, that is it for this week's show here in Kona, Hawaii, but there is still so much more to come.
Yeah, the party is only just getting started here. Saturday is going to go off.
Oh, I cannot wait for that. Well, if you've enjoyed this, hit the thumb up, like button, and make sure you don't miss any more videos from GTN by hitting that globe. And if you want to get more stuff from Kona, we have done a video on numbers in Kona just here.
Yeah, if you'd like to see our Kona preview video, then just click down here.